Okay, now let's move on to those other panels here. Just a quick look at the screenshot. You can see we will not do the stars now. The stars are something special for later. We will just add the text for now and the buttons. So what we need is to select this panel. And I think what we want from the parent is to have it to be centered on the cross axis. Then let's give it some padding. Okay, now I am not going to repeat myself. We are also in kind of in design. We can also keep our code, we can keep our work dry. So I am going to take this panel here and I'm going to try and extract this those settings. So panel info and extract to new class. It unfortunately is on the wrong style sheet. I don't know why, but we can move that over. And now we can take this, hopefully we can take this and throw it onto this class, and that's very nice. Okay. Now for the maybe a little bit more interesting part, let's create a new class. Let's call this text classic. It's again the wrong style sheet. That should not matter for you. I guess that you are not using the same convention. I'm just trying to keep those lessons self-contained. That's why I'm creating a new style sheet for all the changes that were done just in this video. And although the panel was actually done in the last one, so it should be there. Okay, now for this text, what we will definitely do is we are going to use our new font, because this is actually giving us this, hopefully this historic flair. I'm trying to find the text property, set this to none, and this to this Tinsel, whatever that is. And now I think this should be 200, font size of 22 pixels, bold, and pretty much white. Okay, and now let's see if that actually has some effect. Let's take our text class and drop it on the elements that we want it to be on. Now those competitive deeds now also have to wrap and to be centered. Then we also want it on the 5, and we also want it on those moitones here, just that those moitones should be something more golden, not white, like that. Those 3 containers should actually be separated a little bit. Now, I think this might be a good moment to actually have a look at how this works in the game view, how this looks in the game view. Let's select the other instance here, and okay, I know what is happening here. We now have this theming issue where we actually we were using the wrong theme, and that's why our text gets one of the defaults is here that the text color is different. Go to the text property and set the color to white. Yes, now all the text the text is changed to white again, and we can see that in our game view. Okay, that is quite nice. The only thing that's left to do are those two buttons. I just realized one other thing. The reason why this is so crowded in this panel here is that I'm actually trying to record this with a the Windows preset for this screen. I'm having it kind of scaled up so that you can read the fonts better. But the effect that this has is that this stuff is kind of yeah, it looks like the spaces here are not really right. So one thing that we can do for that is again change the DPI here, let's say to 200. Maybe that's a bit too much, 180. On the panel, this is the dots per inch setting, and this will kind of regulate this a little bit now, because I'm just changing this in Windows. This is not a realistic effect, but let's just keep it like that so that it looks a bit better. Now let's go back to the UI builder, and the only thing that's left to do are those buttons. So I don't know, we can call this RTS. Obviously that's an RTS game. We're never going to know what the game actually is like, but let's imagine that it's an RTS game. Now take the button, and the two things that we would like to change is the background and the border, having this sort of golden color. I hope that this will be the effect. 2 pixels of width and 3 pixels of radius. Let's see how that works. We take the button class, drop it on the button. That is quite nice. We didn't change the text of the buttons yet. Let's now again go to the game view, and yes, I think that is quite okay. Now I might just make, in the meantime, definitely don't want me to do like all the details here for an hour or something like that. So I might just change that slightly, and you will get this then in your resource files. But I think for a starting point, for a first kind of draft, that is okay. Now, obviously that was pretty simple and not very challenging, just changing out those texts, but you could see what we could do with those classes. It was just a little bit of practice. Don't worry, we will get to much more difficult and much more challenging stuff soon. So that's it now for this controls section, and we are moving on to templates, I think. See you then.